Israel has released a new report defending its actions in last year's war in Gaza. The report comes just before the United Nations releases its findings on that conflict. CNN's Oren Lieberman joins us now from Jerusalem. And Oren, this 50-day war in Gaza last year killed more than 2,000 Palestinians, most of them civilians. But this report by Israel clears itself of any wrongdoing. What does the document cover?
Lynda, this report is very much the Gaza War, Operation Protective Edge, as it's known here in Israel, through Israel's lens. In it, Israel tries to explain how it conducts warfare, how it chooses what to strike, when to strike, and what weapons. The report says that Israel has a legal expert or a legal analyst that signs off on every strike. But the report also acknowledges the very high civilian death toll, that more than 50% of the Palestinian casualties in Gaza during the war were civilian. Israel there points the finger at Hamas and says Hamas chose to fire rockets from civilian populations in an urban environment, in a city essentially, which Israel says makes it very difficult to conduct warfare without civilian casualties, without the deaths of civilians. So, Lynda, it's a report from Israel trying to explain itself ahead of that United Nations Human Rights Council report, which is expected this week.
So it blames Hamas. What are the Palestinians saying about this report?
And the Palestinian leadership has absolutely rejected this report. Hanan Ashrawi, one of the members of the PLO Executive Committee, says this is totally fabricated, full of lies, in which Israel is trying to justify its violations. It's so far from reality. I don't think anyone with common sense will believe this report. Israel wants to blame the victim by covering reality with lies through a subjective investigation. We've spoken with other Palestinian leaders who say that this is par for the course, that Israel will release a report like this following one of their operations, following a war in Israel.
And as we mentioned, the timing of this report, of course, it comes after the Israeli military said it wouldn't take any action against its personnel who were involved in that deadly airstrike on Gaza Beach last summer. And of course, it comes days before the UN will hand down its own report. Is it concerned about the UN report at all?
Well, it's certainly aware of that report. Israel is fully aware that UN Human Rights Commission report is coming out this week. Israel did not participate in that report or work with the investigators on that report because Israeli leadership feels the resolution that called for the report was already biased from the very beginning. Now, there have been a number of reports in recent weeks that have come out about the Gaza War. The first of those, or perhaps the biggest of those, was right at the end of April, the UN Secretary General's Board of Inquiry report. Israel did cooperate with that investigation, and that investigation found major problems on both sides of the war. Since then, we've seen a number of other reports from B'Tselem, from Breaking the Silence. There was an international organization that just released a report here. So perhaps the best way or one way to view all these reports here is as a way of trying to influence public opinion, which has become the next fight over the Gaza war. Lynda?
Oren Lieberman in Jerusalem, thank you very much for your reporting.